Commander Marcus Steele stood on the observation deck of the UNS Resolute, Earth's flagship defense cruiser, staring out into the cold void of space. The stars were a constant reminder of the vastness beyond. And now that void was being disturbed by the arrival of the Galactic Empire's armada. The hulking warships loomed ominously on the edge of Earth's territory, their presence a clear signal of their intent. The air inside the command center was thick with tension, but Marcus remained calm, his mind focused on the task at hand. "Any communication from their leadship?" Marcus asked, his voice steady. Lieutenant Hannah Torres, his communication officer, nodded as she adjusted her headset. "Yes, sir. It's coming through now." The room fell silent as the voice of the alien commander echoed through the speakers. It was a deep, guttural sound, the result of complex linguistic algorithms translating the message. "People of Earth, I am Admiral Krex of the Galactic Empire. Your species has been deemed incompatible with our vision of the galaxy. Surrender now, and your extinction will be mercifully swift. Resist, and you will be annihilated." The weight of the words hung in the air, but Marcus didn't flinch. He knew this day might come, and he was prepared. He turned to General Iva Cross, the head of Earth's military forces, standing resolute beside him. "Your thoughts, General?" Marcus asked. Ava's eyes were steely as she replied, "We don't surrender, Commander. We fight." Marcus nodded. "Prepare our response." Minutes later, the communication line crackled back to life. Marcus's voice, firm and unyielding, carried Earth's reply. "This is Commander Marcus Steele of Earth Defense. Our answer to your demand is simple. Die. We do not fear your threats, and we will meet your aggression with the full force of humanity's resolve." As the message was sent, the tension in the room transformed into determination. The time for diplomacy had passed. Now, it was time to show the Galactic Empire what Earth was capable of. "Activate all defense systems," Marcus ordered. "Prepare for battle." The command center erupted into controlled chaos as orders were given and preparations made. Marcus watched as the display screen showed Earth's defense grid coming online, satellites and orbital stations powered up, targeting systems locked on the enemy ships. The hum of machinery was accompanied by the cold, methodical efficiency of soldiers readying themselves for the fight of their lives. Captain Layla Carter, head of the Space Fleet, approached Marcus with a data tablet. "Our ships are armed with the new plasma torpedoes. They'll be in for a surprise." "Good," Marcus replied. "We'll need every advantage we can get." Dr. Ilias Voss, chief scientist of Earth's Technological Research Division, joined them, his usually calm demeanor now tense with anticipation. "The energy shields have been upgraded to handle sustained fire. They should hold long enough for us to counterattack." Marcus nodded, appreciating the readiness of his team. "Let's show them that Earth is not just another conquest." As the final preparations were made, Marcus took a moment to gaze out into space once more. The Galactic Empire had made a grave mistake in underestimating humanity. They had come seeking domination, but what they would find was a species united in the face of extinction, a species that would not go quietly into the night. "Let's make them regret coming here," Marcus muttered to himself, his resolve hardening with each passing second. The first shots of the battle were about to be fired, and Marcus Steele was ready to lead Earth into the unknown, knowing that whatever happened, humanity would stand tall. The Galactic Empire's warships, vast and menacing, descended upon Earth's atmosphere with an overwhelming sense of dread. Their dark metallic hulls glistened under the glare of the sun, casting ominous shadows over the planet's surface. The Earth's defense forces, led by Commander Olivia Hale, were poised and ready for battle. Every soldier, every pilot, and every engineer knew that this was a fight for survival. The Earth's orbital defense stations, now fully operational, locked onto the advancing fleet. Olivia stood at the command center, her gaze fixed on the tactical displays that showed the enemy's positions in real time. The room buzzed with tension, each officer fully aware of the stakes. The communication channels crackled with the voices of fleet commanders, all waiting for the order to engage. "Admiral Carla Reyes," Olivia called out, her voice steady despite the anxiety gnawing at her. "Are our ships in position?" "Affirmative, Commander," Reyes replied, her tone firm and resolute. "All squadrons are ready to engage on your command." Olivia nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. "Initiate Phase 1. Target their lead ships with our quantum torpedoes. Let's show them what Earth is made of." With a simple command, Earth's forces unleashed their first barrage. Quantum torpedoes, recently enhanced with alien technology salvaged from previous encounters, streaked through the void, leaving trails of light in their wake. The torpedoes found their marks, slamming into the Empire's lead ships with devastating force. The explosions lit up the sky, sending shockwaves that could be felt even on the planet's surface. Direct hits on multiple vessels. Lieutenant Raj Patil exclaimed, his fingers flying over the control panel as he monitored the battle. Their shields are down on several ships. But the Empire was not so easily defeated. Their ships regrouped quickly, adapting to the sudden onslaught. They retaliated with a ferocity that shook the very fabric of space. Beams of energy, powerful and destructive, lanced through the battlefield, striking Earth's defensive positions. The shields of Earth's warships flared brightly as they absorbed the impact, but it was clear they couldn't hold out forever. "Shields are holding, but we've sustained damage to the outer perimeter," reported Dr. Elena Moreau, the lead scientist responsible for Earth's shield technology. "We need to be cautious." Olivia's mind raced as she assessed the situation. They had to think strategically, use every advantage they had. "Admiral Reyes, deploy the drone squadrons. Target their support ships. We need to disrupt their coordination." As the drones launched from their hidden bays, they moved with lethal precision, darting between the larger vessels to strike at the vulnerable points in the Empire's fleet. The enemy ships scrambled to respond, their firepower momentarily diverted. In the midst of the chaos, Captain Daniel Ortiz, leading the Shadow Squadron, executed a daring maneuver. His fleet of stealth fighters, equipped with cloaking technology, slipped behind enemy lines undetected. They unleashed a surprise attack on the Empire's command ship, aiming to cut off the head of the snake. "Target their command bridge," Ortiz ordered, his voice calm under pressure. "Let's cripple their leadership." The attack was swift and brutal. The command ship's shields flickered and failed under the relentless assault, and within moments, the bridge was engulfed in flames. The Empire's fleet faltered, their coordination shattered. "We did it." Ortiz cheered, but his victory was short-lived. The Empire's reinforcements arrived, larger and more powerful than before. Massive dreadnoughts, bristling with weaponry, emerged from hyperspace, their sheer size dwarfing Earth's defenses. Olivia's stomach churned at the sight. "This is just the beginning," she murmured to herself. "We have to hold the line." As the battle intensified, Earth's forces fought with everything they had. The sky above became a storm of fire and metal, each side refusing to yield. Olivia knew that this fight would not be won easily, but she also knew that Earth would never surrender. "Stay strong," she urged her team, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We are Earth's last hope, and we will not fall." The battle had begun, and it would be a fight to the very end. The battle raged on with a ferocity that defied imagination. Earth's defenders fought valiantly, but the relentless onslaught of the Galactic Empire was beginning to take its toll. Explosions rocked the skies as ships were torn apart by enemy fire, and the once organized battle lines had devolved into chaotic skirmishes. Commander Olivia Hale surveyed the battlefield from the command center, her mind racing as she tried to find a way to turn the tide. The Empire's reinforcements had thrown their forces into disarray, and the casualties were mounting. She knew they couldn't hold out much longer unless they did something drastic. "Admiral Reyes, we need to regroup," Olivia ordered, her voice filled with urgency. "Pull our forces back to the secondary defense line and prepare for a counterattack. We need to buy ourselves some time." Reyes nodded, her expression grim. "Understood, Commander. I'll issue the orders immediately." As Earth's fleet began to fall back, the Empire's ships pursued with relentless determination. But Olivia had a plan, one that was risky, but their only hope. She turned to Dr. Elena Moreau, who was monitoring the battlefield with a critical eye. "Dr. Moreau, is Project Hammerhead ready for deployment?" Olivia asked, her voice steady despite the tension. Moreau hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "It's risky, but it's our best shot. The energy core is stable, but we'll only get one chance." Project Hammerhead was Earth's last-ditch weapon, a massive energy cannon capable of devastating entire fleets in a single blast. It had been developed in secret, a desperate measure for a desperate time. If it worked, it could turn the tide of the battle. If it failed, Earth would be left defenseless. Olivia took a deep breath, her mind made up. "Prepare to fire. Target the heart of their fleet. We need to cripple their reinforcements before they overwhelm us." The command center buzzed with activity as the order was relayed. Earth's remaining ships formed a defensive perimeter around the Hammerhead cannon, buying time for it to charge. The Empire's fleet, sensing the shift in strategy, intensified their assault, determined to crush the human resistance before the weapon could be fired. Captain Daniel Ortiz, still leading the Shadow Squadron, saw the Empire's ships closing in on the Hammerhead's position. "We can't let them get to that cannon," he said to his squadron. "All units, engage the enemy at close range. Keep them off the Hammerhead at all costs." The Shadow Squadron dove into the fray, their stealth fighters weaving through the chaos with deadly precision. They engaged the Empire's forces head-on, drawing fire away from the Hammerhead as it continued to charge. Ortiz knew that this was a suicide mission, but he and his pilots were willing to give their lives to protect Earth. Meanwhile, Olivia watched the energy levels of the Hammerhead climb steadily on her display. The tension in the room was palpable, each second feeling like an eternity. The fate of humanity rested on the success of this weapon. "Energy levels at 90%, Dr. Moreau reported, her voice tight with anxiety. "Almost there." But just as the Hammerhead reached full charge, disaster struck. The Empire's dreadnoughts, larger and more powerful than any ship Earth had ever faced, broke through the defensive perimeter. They unleashed a devastating barrage of firepower, targeting the Hammerhead in a final bid to stop it. "Shields failing. We can't hold them off." Lieutenant Patel shouted as the command center shook from the impact of the dreadnought's assault. Olivia's heart sank as she saw the damage reports coming in. The Hammerhead was their last hope, but it was being torn apart before it could fire. Desperation gripped her as she realized they were out of time. "Fire the Hammerhead. Now," Olivia ordered, her voice cutting through the chaos. Dr. Moreau didn't hesitate. She activated the firing sequence, and the Hammerhead cannon unleashed its full power. A blinding beam of energy shot forth from the weapon, cutting through space like a knife. It tore through the heart of the Empire's fleet, obliterating ships in its path and sending shockwaves rippling through the battlefield. For a moment, everything seemed to stop. The sheer force of the Hammerhead's blast was overwhelming, and even the Empire's mighty dreadnoughts were caught in the destruction. The command center erupted in cheers as the screen showed the aftermath. Half of the Empire's fleet was gone, reduced to debris floating in space. But the victory came at a cost. The Hammerhead, already heavily damaged, couldn't withstand the stress of firing. Its energy core overloaded, and with a final catastrophic explosion, the weapon was destroyed. Earth's forces had won the battle, but they had lost their greatest weapon. Olivia stared at the screen, her emotions a mix of relief and sorrow. They had survived. For now. But she knew this was just the beginning. The Empire would return, stronger and more determined than ever. And when they did, Earth would need to be ready. "Prepare for the next phase," Olivia said quietly, her voice filled with resolve. "We've bought ourselves time, but the war is far from over." The remains of the battle still flickered in the void of space, a graveyard of twisted metal and shattered ships. Earth had won a hard-fought victory, but the Galactic Empire was far from defeated. Commander Olivia Hale knew that the reprieve they had earned would be short-lived. In the days following the battle, Earth's leaders convened to discuss their next move. The situation was dire. With the Hammerhead cannon destroyed and their fleet severely weakened, Earth could not withstand another direct assault from the Empire. They needed allies, strong ones, and fast. The only hope lay in forming an alliance with other star systems that had also resisted the Empire's rule. But such an alliance was easier said than done. Many of these systems were wary of Earth's intentions, having watched from a distance as the conflict unfolded. To bring them together, Earth would need to offer more than just a plea for help. They would need to present a plan that could turn the tide of the entire war. Olivia was chosen to lead the diplomatic mission. She was known for her strategic mind and her ability to inspire trust in even the most skeptical allies. But as she prepared to depart, she couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. "Are you sure about this, Olivia?" Admiral Rise asked as they stood in the hangar bay, watching the diplomatic shuttle being prepped for launch. "The Empire is regrouping. We might not have the luxury of waiting for an alliance." "We don't have a choice, Admiral," Olivia replied, her voice firm. "If we stand alone, we're doomed. But if we can unite the other worlds against the Empire, we might just have a chance. I'll bring them back, no matter what it takes." With that, Olivia boarded the shuttle and set course for the first destination on her list, the Andromeda Confederation, a powerful coalition of star systems that had managed to remain neutral in the conflict so far. The Confederation was known for its advanced technology and formidable fleet, but its leaders had refused to take sides, preferring to watch and wait. As the shuttle approached the Confederation's capital world, Olivia prepared herself for the difficult negotiations ahead. The Confederation's leaders were pragmatic, and they would not be easily swayed by appeals to emotion or morality. She would need to convince them that joining the fight was in their own best interest. The meeting took place in the Grand Council Chamber, a vast room filled with representatives from dozens of star systems. Olivia stood before them, feeling the weight of their scrutiny as she began her pitch. "Honored representatives, I come before you not just as a commander of Earth's forces, but as a fellow citizen of the galaxy," Olivia began, her voice steady. "The Galactic Empire threatens all of us, not just Earth. They seek to dominate, to control, and to destroy any who resist. But together, we can stop them. We have already dealt them a significant blow, and with your help, we can turn the tide of this war." The room was silent as the representatives listened. Olivia could see the doubt in their eyes, the skepticism that had kept them neutral for so long. But she pressed on, knowing that this was their last chance. "The Empire will not stop with Earth," she continued. "Once they have crushed us, they will turn their gaze on the rest of the galaxy. No world will be safe. But if we unite, we can build a force strong enough to defeat them. The time for neutrality is over. It's time to choose a side." For a moment, there was only silence. Then one of the representatives, a stern-faced woman with sharp features, spoke up. "You make a compelling argument, Commander Hale," she said. "But why should we believe that Earth can lead such an alliance? Your forces are weakened, your greatest weapon destroyed. What do you offer us besides words?" Olivia met the woman's gaze, her expression resolute. "I offer you a chance to fight for your freedom. A chance to be remembered as the ones who stood against tyranny and won. Earth may be weakened, but we are not broken. We still have the will to fight, and we will fight with everything we have. But we need your strength, your technology, and your courage. Together, we can forge a new future, one where the Empire is nothing but a memory." The chamber erupted into murmurs as the representatives discussed her words. Olivia stood tall, waiting for their decision. She knew this was a gamble, but it was one she had to take. Finally, the leader of the Confederation, an elderly man with a calm demeanor, raised his hand for silence. "Commander Hale, your words carry great weight. We have watched this war from afar, but you are right. Our neutrality cannot last forever. The Empire is a threat to all of us, and if we do not act now, we may not get another chance." He paused, looking around the room at the other representatives. "I propose that the Confederation join this alliance, but under one condition. We must act quickly and decisively. We will commit our fleet to the fight, but Earth must lead the charge. We cannot afford to wait for another attack." Olivia nodded, a sense of relief washing over her. "You have my word. Earth will lead, and we will win this war together." With the Confederation on board, the alliance quickly began to take shape. Other star systems, inspired by the Confederation's decision, joined the cause. The newly formed alliance of free worlds became a beacon of hope in the galaxy, a symbol of resistance against the Empire's tyranny. As the fleets of the alliance gathered, Olivia knew that the time had come for the final battle. The Empire would not sit idly by while their enemies united. They would strike with all their might, and the fate of the galaxy would be decided in the conflict to come. But this time, Earth would not stand alone. The alliance was ready, and they would fight with everything they had to secure their freedom. The battle ahead would be the most difficult yet, but Olivia was confident. They had a chance, one final chance, to end the Empire's reign once and for all. The alliance of free worlds stood ready. Hundreds of ships, from nimble fighters to colossal dreadnoughts, filled the void, their combined might a testament to the galaxy's determination to overthrow the Empire. Commander Olivia Hale watched from the bridge of her flagship, the Valiant, as the last of the fleet formations fell into place. The tension in the air was palpable. Everyone knew this would be their last stand. The Alliance had chosen their battlefield wisely. The star system of Epsilon Eridani, with its dense asteroid belts and unstable solar flares, offered strategic advantages that could tip the scales in their favor. But it was also a dangerous place to fight. A single miscalculation could spell disaster. "We've detected the Empire's fleet entering the system," reported Lieutenant Daniels, his voice tight with anticipation. "They're moving fast, ma'am. Looks like they're bringing everything they've got." Olivia nodded, her gaze fixed on the holographic display showing the enemy's approach. The Empire's fleet was massive, dwarfing even the combined forces of the Alliance. But they had expected this. The key to victory would not be sheer firepower, but strategy and coordination. "Activate the cloaking fields on our forward units," Olivia ordered. "Let's see if we can draw them into the asteroid field, and prepare the Hammerhead Eye cannon for deployment. We'll only get one shot with it." The Hammerhead Eye was a new weapon, hastily constructed after the original had been destroyed. It was smaller and less powerful, but it still packed enough punch to turn the tide if used correctly. The plan was to lure the Empire's fleet into the most treacherous part of the asteroid belt, and then unleash the cannon at point-blank range. As the Alliance fleet maneuvered into position, the Empire's forces surged forward, their dreadnoughts leading the charge. They were confident, perhaps too confident, that their superior numbers would crush the rebels once and for all. But Olivia knew better. Arrogance had been the downfall of many empires throughout history. "Enemy ships are entering the asteroid field," Daniels reported. "They're taking the bait." "Good," Olivia replied. "All units, hold your fire until I give the command. We need them to be fully committed." Minutes ticked by as the Empire's fleet advanced deeper into the asteroid field. The Alliance ships held their positions, cloaked and silent, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Olivia could feel the weight of the entire galaxy on her shoulders. If they failed here, there would be no second chance. Finally, the enemy was in position. "Now," Olivia commanded. "All units, engage. Fire the Hammerhead Eye." The void erupted in chaos as the Alliance fleet decloaked and unleashed a devastating barrage of firepower. The Empire's ships, caught off guard, struggled to return fire as they were pummeled by asteroids and laser blasts alike. In the center of the storm, the Hammerhead Eye cannon charged, its power building to a critical point. With a flash of light, the cannon fired, its beams slicing through the largest of the Empire's dreadnoughts. The ship exploded in a brilliant burst of energy, sending shockwaves rippling through the surrounding fleet. For a brief moment, it seemed as though the Alliance might actually win this battle. But the Empire was not so easily defeated. Their remaining dreadnoughts regrouped, their heavy shields absorbing the worst of the asteroid impacts as they pushed forward. Wave after wave of enemy fighters poured into the fray, overwhelming the Alliance's defenses. "Shields are failing on the Valiant," Daniels warned, panic creeping into his voice. "We can't take much more of this." Olivia gritted her teeth, refusing to give in to despair. "All ships, concentrate fire on the lead dreadnought. We need to break their line." The Alliance fleet rallied, focusing their attacks on the Empire's flagship. The battle raged on, the void filled with the screams of ships being torn apart. But slowly, inexorably, the tide began to turn. The Empire's forces, though still formidable, were beginning to falter under the relentless assault. Then, just as hope began to rise, the unthinkable happened. A massive explosion rocked the Valiant, throwing Olivia and her crew to the deck. Alarms blared as damage reports flooded in. "Ma'am, we've lost the portside engines," Daniel shouted. "We're dead in the water." Olivia pulled herself to her feet, her mind racing. They couldn't hold out much longer. If they didn't do something drastic, the battle would be lost. "Prepare for ramming speed," she ordered, her voice calm despite the chaos. "We're taking that dreadnought down with us." "Ma'am." Daniels looked at her in shock. "You can't be serious." "I'm deadly serious, Lieutenant. This is our only chance. Get everyone to the escape pods, then set a collision course. I'll stay behind to make sure we hit our target." There was no time for argument. The crew scrambled to evacuate as Olivia took the helm, guiding the crippled Valiant towards the Empire's flagship. The dreadnought loomed larger and larger in the view screen, its weapons blazing as it tried to fend off the incoming ship. As the distance closed, Olivia felt a strange sense of peace. This was what she had trained for her entire life, one final act of defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. She knew that her sacrifice would not be in vain. The Alliance would carry on, and the Empire would fall. With a final breath, Olivia locked the Valiant's course and activated the ship's self-destruct sequence. The dreadnought's hull filled the screen, and then, in an instant, everything went white. The explosion of the Valiant was visible across the entire battlefield, a blinding flash of light that sent shockwaves rippling through the void. The Empire's flagship, caught in the blast, was torn apart, its shattered remains drifting aimlessly in space. For a moment, both sides were stunned into silence. Then, as the debris began to clear, the Alliance fleet surged forward with renewed vigor. Olivia's sacrifice had given them the opening they needed, and they were determined to make it count. The remaining Empire ships, leaderless and disorganized, struggled to mount a defense as the Alliance pressed the attack. One by one, the Empire's ships fell. The Alliance forces, driven by the memory of their fallen commander, fought with a ferocity that the Empire had not anticipated. Within hours, the once mighty fleet lay in ruins, and the remnants of the Empire's forces were forced to retreat. Across the galaxy, the news spread like wildfire. The Empire had been defeated. The Alliance of Free Worlds had won. Celebrations erupted on countless planets as people everywhere realized that the nightmare was finally over. But for those who had fought in the battle, the victory was bittersweet. On the bridge of the Alliance flagship, Admiral Reyes stood in silence, looking out at the wreckage that filled the void. The cost had been high, too high, but they had done what needed to be done. "We'll make sure she's remembered," Reyes said quietly, thinking of Olivia. "She gave everything for this victory. We owe it to her to build something better." As the fleet began to regroup, Reyes issued the order to transmit a message to all corners of the galaxy. The Empire is no more. The Alliance of Free Worlds stands as a beacon of hope and freedom. Together, we will rebuild, and together, we will forge a new future. The war was over, but the work of rebuilding had just begun. The Alliance set about the monumental task of restoring peace and order to the galaxy, working to heal the wounds that the Empire had inflicted. They knew it would not be easy, but they were determined to create a better world for future generations. Years passed, and the galaxy slowly began to recover from the devastation of the war. The Alliance of Free Worlds grew stronger, its member systems united in their commitment to peace and prosperity. The scars of the conflict remained, but they served as a reminder of what had been fought for. On Earth, a statue was erected in honor of Commander Olivia Hale, the hero who had led the Alliance to victory. It stood tall in the center of Unity Square, a symbol of the courage and sacrifice that had saved the galaxy. People from all over the galaxy came to pay their respects, leaving flowers and tokens of gratitude at its base. But Olivia's true legacy was not in stone or metal. It was in the lives of the countless beings who had been freed from the Empire's tyranny. Her actions had inspired a generation to believe in the power of unity, and her story was told and retold across the stars. In time, the Alliance became a model of cooperation and governance, a shining example of what could be achieved when people of different worlds and cultures came together for a common cause. The lessons of the past were never forgotten, and the leaders of the Alliance worked tirelessly to ensure that the mistakes of the Empire would never be repeated. And so, the galaxy entered a new era, one of hope, progress, and endless possibility. The darkness that had once threatened to consume them all was gone, replaced by the light of a brighter future. In the end, Olivia Hale's dream had been realized, a galaxy where freedom reigned, and where the power of the few could never again oppress the many. It was a legacy that would endure for generations to come, a testament to the strength and resilience of those who had fought for a better world. And as the stars shone down on the countless worlds of the Alliance, it was clear that, in the end, they had truly won. The Empire was a memory, but the hope it had tried to extinguish burned brighter than ever.